What's up? And welcome to 5280 Film Room.
We're a Colorado sports podcast by fans for fans.
Please subscribe, rate, and review, and also follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
You can also email us your input, questions, and ideas at 5280filmroom@gmail.com.
Thanks for listening. What's shaking, Colorado sports fans? I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Jordan.
And today we are talking all things Colorado Avalanche. Might sprinkle in a little Nuggets or Rockies here and there, but we are ready and excited to talk about the Avalanche. We spent the money, we dropped the big bucks, and went to the playoff game, the first game at Pepsi Center last night. I don't think I can accurately explain how ridiculously loud the Pepsi Center was.
I think it's definitely the most energetic and loud Avalanche game I've ever been to.
It was freaking amazing.
Yeah. And I've been to quite a few playoff games too, but the energy in the stadium was amazing.
It was electric, and it was like palpable. I'm a very emotional sports fan, in case you have never listened to the podcast before. And there were like multiple times throughout the opening ceremony where I was like tearing up. I got all teary at Cale Makar's goal. Like, it was just an epic game.
Avs fans showed up, and they were excited for the Avs. I mean, this is the first time in, I think it was like 17 or 18 years where they've made the playoffs 2 years in a row. And that just shows the rest of the league that you're a legit team. Even though you're the 8th seed both years, but still, you made it to the playoffs.
And Avs fans just deserve a lot of credit for their patience and for sticking with this team, really no matter what. I mean, there's been some rough years. It was not too long ago that the Avs had the 48-point season.
Yeah, well, like 3 years ago.
Yeah, like that is recent history. And
when we went to 5 of those games, and every game they just looked like a high school team playing a pro team.
That season was so painful. And
then to see where they're at now is impressive.
And it makes me think about kind of what the contributing factors are as to how this team has turned around so swiftly. I think that was the 2016 season.
I think so.
That was just horrible.
Well, that was Bednar's first year as the Avs coach, so he was
Waugh was still around, right? In his role?
I think so. Waugh, so he left the team like a month before the season, or I don't know the exact time frame, but it was before the season was starting. So he was supposed to be the head coach, and then he just peaced out.
Just completely high and dry, left everyone hanging.
Yeah, he had a different view of how he wanted the team to go than how Sakic wanted it to go, and I don't blame him for leaving. Like, if his beliefs on how the team should be built is the complete opposite of what the organization wants, then he should leave. So I wasn't upset with Waugh as far as why he left. It's just the timing was unfortunate.
It's just the nature of the way he left that, I don't know. It was a little unprofessional, but
it was. It was so sudden.
Ultimately, I mean, I think we can all agree Sakic had the right idea.
Looking at it now,
organization, I wonder what it's like to be Patrick Waugh and look at kind of how things have progressed and go, oh, okay, he was right.
Yeah.
About this or that or the other.
Well, and one of the things was Waugh wanted to get rid of Duchesne at that time, and it took a year and a half for Sakic.
Sakic had a plan. He was playing the long con. He knew exactly what Duchesne could be worth, and he wasn't going to settle. And that trade we've been seeing the reoccurring benefits for the past 3 years.
Yeah, not only did we get Sam Girard, who's one of the best young defensemen in the league, we got the 4th overall pick in this year's draft. If you could go back in time knowing what you know now, if it was just Duchesne for Girard, the Avs would take that all day.
Yeah.
But then you throw on a first-round pick on top of that. They just stole that trade.
Absolutely. And that all credit goes to Joe Sakic for making that happen.
Oh, yeah. I completely agree.
Takes a lot of strategizing.
That's the type of trade that every GM dreams about making. but it never happens. And it was masterful. And the Avs are going to reap the benefits for years. Because Gerard, he's, in his early 20s, and then we got the draft pick coming up too. So we're going to enjoy this for a while. And Duchesne's not even with the Senators, so poor Senators.
Yeah. Where is he? I have no idea.
I think he's with the Blue Jackets. I know he's in the playoffs right now.
What is a Blue Jacket?
That's the
What kind
lightning
of animal
killer.
is that?
I guess a yellow jacket
Anyway,
with a blue
I
coat
guess
on.
that's not relevant. So wait, the Blue Jackets are the ones who are like literally mere moments away from sweeping the Lightning?
Yes.
That's crazy.
In 4 games.
That right there is such a good example of like you cannot predict how the Stanley Cup playoffs are going to pan out.
When I wonder, okay, so it's a final as of right now. Blue Jackets won 7-3.
Oh.
Swept the Lightning, and the Lightning, they had by far the best season of any team and one of the best seasons in NHL history. So the fact that they got swept and the Avs are up 2-1 on the number 1 seed, I just wonder if it's ever happened where both number 1 seeds were kicked out in the first round against an 8 seed. Because right now it's trending that way. I don't know if the Avs are going to win the series,
knock
but
on wood. I feel like I like that, but I don't want to put too much hype in the air before. Oh, but I do, but I don't. I'm torn. Because Avs fans should be so excited and over the moon and confident going into this next game, but it's still there's no telling.
Yeah,
but if Avs fans show up the way they did last night to tomorrow's game, I feel bad for the Flames. They were so incredibly sloppy. Anything that they had in mind in terms of game plan was decimated by the Avs.
No, the Avs were not going to lose that game.
No, and
they made that decision.
There's Nathan McKinnon's energy on the ice is infectious.
He took the game over.
So dominant. He showed up I am the alpha of this team, and we are absolutely not leaving this rink without a win. And not only was it a win, they spanked them.
It was
3 goals in the first period. I mean, I like I said, if you can get to a playoff game, spend the money. It's worth it. It was one of the most exciting nights of my life.
Well, I don't think the Flames realize just how fast the Avs players are. I think their plan going into the series was to slow the game down a little bit, get more physical. But especially last night's game, the Avs players were just skating around the Flames.
Well, and hey, gotta love our altitude. It affects every single team that has to come play on our turf.
What about Calgary, though? Isn't that pretty high up?
That's very valid. I have no idea, probably.
I don't know the altitude, but I would imagine.
Now I gotta know. What is the altitude of Calgary?
Right. I would imagine it's, if not a mile high, pretty close to it. But I don't know. I could be wrong.
I was trying to find some saving grace for these poor Flames because they looked horrible.
They really did.
It was so rewarding. It was just so...
Well, and even in the first 2 games of the series, even though the Avs lost 4-0 in the first game, I thought they still played a really good game. They had some bad luck, for sure. A lot of broken sticks and just shots that weren't going in because Smith was amazing. Oh, 3,428. Okay, so we're 1,800 feet.
Yeah, that's
higher.
That's something.
I mean, it helps.
They're not chilling at sea level in Calgary or anything. But yeah, like you were saying, that first game, the Avs looked good.
They did. I thought they played a really good game. Both teams the energy was kind of weird. I don't know if they were just trying to figure each other out or what, but
yeah.
The Flames obviously were the better team, but the Avs just didn't really have much energy.
But I also feel the luck broke their way.
Yeah.
Both goalies just played out of their minds. Calgary happened to just get, I felt a little lucky on a couple of those first 2 goals.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas the Avs had goals, very similar shots, and the luck just didn't tilt their way.
Yeah.
But the Avs looked good. As a fan, I was not discouraged by that loss.
No. Well, I think one of the goals, looking back at the highlights, Grubauer could have done better on the save, but the other three, one of them was a tip in. Yeah. One was a tipped in, and then the other one bounced off someone's skate. So it's like, you can't really blame Grubauer for that. But Grubauer has been incredible. But so is Mike Smith. Except for last night. But even then,
I just never anticipated someone with such a boring name as Mike Smith to be such a good goalie. Goalies always have to have cool names, and I'm like, Mike Smith. Mike Smith sounds like the kid who sat behind me in high school algebra.
Yeah.
This guy is way dominant as a goal. I mean, he's been playing lights out.
When he's 37 years old.
Which is just such a testament. I mean, he was playing lights out until they just absolutely ate him alive yesterday.
Well, he made 50 saves in the game. That's a pretty damn good game.
I didn't think,
Because the Avs had 56 shots in the game.
God, we just outshot. I remember it was pretty much throughout the entire game we were paying close attention to shots on goal. And almost consistently, Avs were 2-1.
Oh, yeah.
When they had 16, we had 32. And it was almost just whole ways. We had twice as many shots on goal as they did.
They ended up with, I think it was 29 shots or something like that. Okay. So it was about 2-1 by the end of the game. But the Avs, they've looked incredible. And if you just watch the games and you see the amount of breakaways that the Avs have that they haven't scored on compared to the Flames, it seems like there's always a defender in front of the Flames offense. But with the Avs, they've had so many breakaways. They're just not scoring as much as they should. But with 6 goals, what else can you ask for last night?
Absolutely. And looking back at the second game, that came down to overtime.
Yes.
It was so exciting. Both teams looked, completely evenly matched throughout the entire game.
It was great.
It was a great hockey game. It was interesting from beginning to end. There weren't any lulls. Sometimes with hockey, man, even though it's fast-paced and such a physical, dominant sport, there can be lulls in the action where you're looking around like, all right, it's been 10 minutes since anything worth watching has happened. And that game was moment to moment so dynamic and entertaining. And we were actually out at a sports bar watching that one. And I'm so glad because I enjoy watching games at home, but I so much prefer getting to be around other fans and the energy and the excitement. And the place just absolutely erupted.
It was amazing.
And sports are unifying, you know? You got a whole bunch of strangers who have just been hanging out for a few hours watching this game, and people are running around, high-fiving, giving hugs to complete strangers. That's the magic of sports. That's truly, I think, why they will never go out of style.
No, it's
there
the
will
community.
Always be, professional sports, amateur sports. They bring communities together, and getting to be at the Pepsi Center last night. It was just cool. It was so cool. And I got to give mad props to the staff and the organizers. Whoever orchestrated that opening ceremony was brilliant. We all got these little light up bracelets that were LED lights programmed obviously through their lighting console to go off in certain colors on the beats of the music. So it was being you were a part of the show.
Well, during the national anthem,
pom-poms.
Each section, if you're in a certain section, everybody would have blue. Another section would have white. Another section would have red. And it was just programmed LED lights. It was pretty cool.
It was impressive. It really was impressive.
Just wonder why this hasn't been a thing before. Who thought of that?
Nerd that I am. I know, right? Who got super rich off making cheap LED bracelets that you can then... And programming those is not difficult from a tech...
No.
My tech theater nerd coming out. It's not going to be super time intensive or laborious, but the effect makes it seem worth $1 million.
Yeah, the visual was pretty amazing.
So cool. I can't remember his last name, but Jake, the go-to guy for the anthems.
Oh, Jake.
Man, sometimes we've been watching a ton of playoffs, and you can tell at most of these venues it's their person, the local person that does their performances. And a lot of them that I've watched have been like really shaky, city to city. He knew he was on national TV and slayed it. It was probably the most like strong and beautiful rendition of the national anthem I've got to hear live before.
He does most of the Avs games that we've been to, and he's always amazing.
He had it up a notch though. I was impressed because you'd think the nerves might make him shaky, but they just amped him up.
When he was feeding off the crowd, for sure.
How could you not? I mean, it was like, I hope that the Avs players understand like how appreciative as a fan base you are when they not only can bring home a win in this type of high intensity, high stakes situation, but when they win by so much and just make the other team look completely irrelevant.
Who looked like the number 1 seed last night?
The Colorado Avalanche, 100%. And I keep forgetting and having to remind myself we're the 8 seed, they're the 1 seed.
Exactly.
Because they're certainly not looking like the 1 seed. Now, that's not saying they're not going to come back with a vengeance, especially since we will, no matter what, be back in Calgary for at least one game, no matter how this next game pans out.
Yes. So I hope they win it in 5, but I mean the Flames are too good to go down 1-4 in a playoff series. So I think,
but everyone thought the Lightning, there was no way. No way they would get swept by the Blue Jackets, whatever a Blue Jacket is.
I do think it'll go to 6, and the 6th game will be in Denver. And I don't see how the Avs are going to lose that game in Denver. Because tomorrow, I do think the Avs are going to win tomorrow in Denver.
I think
and then
so
go back
too.
to Calgary, and I think they'll lose that. But
so
then,
it's 2 games Calgary, 2 games home, 1 Calgary, 1 home, 1 Calgary.
Yes.
If we go to all 7 games.
Yes.
So much travel.
I know. It's so true.
But I mean, as fans, you know.
Because it used to be
Love it.
2-4-2.
Oh, I don't like that.
That kind of gave the lesser seed an advantage.
Yes, for sure.
Or 2-3-2. Not 2-4-2.
2-3-2.
Because then they would
Yeah,
have game
math.
4 and 5 at home.
I mean, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
I think forcing 5, 6, 7 to be alternating is smart
Oh, yeah.
on behalf of the NHL.
I think it gives more of an advantage to the higher seed, which is good, in my opinion.
Also, just as major sports fans, I mean, we were going into these 2 major playoff series with Colorado Avalanche and the Denver Nuggets, and I think everyone thought the Nuggets were going to be dominant and the Avs were going to have to fight for their lives. And it's the complete opposite.
So far.
I mean, the Avalanche are playing lights out, and the Nuggets are definitely... It's definitely apparent that very few of them have been here before.
Exactly.
There's something to be said, even if it's just, 1 series like it was for the Avs last year. Well, any playoff experience is gold.
Oh, yeah. When you look at the Avs last year, they lost the first 2 games on the road, so when they came to Denver, they had to win that game to even stay in the series, which they did, to their credit. But they were to the point where, all right, we're down 2-0. We have to win this game. Now, in this series, they came back home 1-1, and then they controlled the home rink advantage. So looking at the Nuggets, like they have to win game 2, because then they're going to play 2 games on the road in San Antonio.
It's definitely concerning. I mean, they're still in it. There's still, a lot, especially this. We're watching the game right now, almost to the end of the first half. And they've caught up. They were down by a lot. They've got themselves within 6 points. They just don't. They're not playing with any swagger or any confidence. Like, you can feel the jitters coming through the television.
Yeah, they look like they've never been there before because they haven't.
Because they haven't.
I
Still have a lot of faith in the Nuggets, but I'm also, a big sap and probably not the most realistic. Most of the time. Unless I'm deciding to be an absolute mean hard ass. There's really no in between with me. I'm either like, we're winning it all, or we're doomed, it's over.
Right.
Things were looking really doomed and over for the Rockies. And they have now turned the ship a bit.
They got
with
some offense.
Two wins in a row. Thank goodness. They're playing right now. It's Nolan Arenado's purple birthday. If you don't know what that means, it's because I made it up this morning. Your golden birthday is when you turn the age that your birthday falls on. So if your birthday is on June 17th, your golden birthday is when you're 17. Your purple birthday is when you're turning the age that's on your jersey. So Nolan turns 28 today. Hit a homer for his birthday. Jordan's looking at me like, what are you talking about?
I didn't know that.
But they've won 2 in a row and are now currently up 5-0 in the top of the third. So things are looking good for this game as well. But I got to tell you, as a diehard Broncos fan, Rockies fan, and more casual Nuggets and Avalanche fan, I am 100% most dedicated to the Avs right now. Normally I bounce around a lot in terms of what types of sport podcasts I listen to, what I watch in terms of like Sports Center, NFL Network. And I woke up this morning and turned on the NHL Network. I've never done that before. I always watch Good Morning Football. Kay Adams is my absolute idol. I love waking up with the breakfast table. But I woke up and went, I want to see what they're saying about the Avalanche.
How could you not after last night?
It was
they were amazing.
Yeah, they really
Well, the Avs have shown throughout the season that
diehard fan out of me.
They can be one of the best teams in the NHL.
Absolutely.
Or they can be one of the worst teams in the NHL.
Yep. I mean, and they did have a rough patch, is putting it really lightly.
Rough 2 months.
Oh, that mid-season, I mean, it was horrible. They looked absolutely dreadful.
Well, I think that helps them going into the playoffs because they know that they can play with anybody because they did that for the first 2 months of the season.
Yeah.
But then they've gone through the hardship. Like the Flames, they've just kind of coasted through their entire season without, a lot of issue and just kind of, winning a lot of games. But they didn't really have to deal with adversity. The Avs did. And I think they just have a lot more fight in them because of that. Because they had to dig themselves out of
a big hole.
And they did. They went 8-0-2 at the end of the season to barely make the playoffs.
Just by the skin of their teeth. And you can tell they've showed up mad. They're like, all right, we're not letting this one go this time.
Yeah.
We're not going to let it happen.
Like McKinnon even said that last year they were happy with just making the playoffs because the year before they had the 48-point season. But he said this year they're going to try to win the Stanley Cup. They're not just settling with.
Literally you can feel that energy from every single person in the Avs organization.
Oh, yeah.
They are in this thing for the long haul. And it's that they believe they can do it. They really believe they can do it. The Nuggets don't believe in themselves right now. The Rockies...
They're in a weird spot.
They shouldn't believe in themselves right now, but they're working towards getting back to a place where
their pitching has been holding up very
excited
well.
About them.
It's just the offense.
But
yeah,
we'll see.
Who do you think, besides McKinnon and Grubauer, who do you think the Avs need to rely on for the rest of the series to win it? Because McKinnon's kind of put the team on his back, and Grubauer has been insane. So besides those two guys, who are you most excited to see?
Obviously, I think we have to look to Landeskog.
He's the captain.
El
Capitan.
He's responsible for stepping up. And he's been playing great.
Yeah, he's been good.
I don't know if he has quite the alpha presence McKinnon does just as a person. He seems a little more... I don't know what the word is. He's definitely a competitor and he's definitely intense, but he's a bit more even-keeled.
He is. He's more, he's not the fiery leader, but he's definitely the leader on the team. McKinnon is he's a hell of a lot more talented, even though Landeskog is super talented.
Everyone amped
up.
He's the one. He's like the Aqib Talib in terms of, he's going to say all the right fiery comments to get everybody completely amped out of their minds and ready to dominate.
And he's going to back it up.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Right.
When McKinnon says something, you know that he's going to back it up.
Exactly. Yeah. Who do you think?
I mean, it's got to be Makar that I'm most looking forward to.
Confession. I woke up this morning, turned on NHL Network, and went to NHL Shop to see if I could buy a Makar jersey. They don't exist yet, which, I mean, fair enough.
So I think
I was kind of like, hey, maybe these guys are really on top of it. I'm going to have to wait a little bit, but I'm so excited about this kid, and I just can't. It's like a Disney plotline. The entire last 42 hours of this young man's life.
I know.
There's this stuff dreams are made of. Like, you can't write it. It's epic.
When
and
he was in, I think the championship game is in Toronto. Does that sound right?
I don't know.
No, it's somewhere in Canada, but he was at the championship game on Sunday. 2 days later, or 1 day later, he gets signed. 2 days later,
He's
2 days
on
later, he is
the ice
playing an
in
NHL
the Stanley
playoff game.
Cup playoffs. It's baffling, and for him to play so well, and his sweet parents, who they went to them on the jumbotron, and you could tell. I mean, they were super excited, but they were also like shocked. Like, wait, did he just score? Did our kid just score? Like, he just got here.
Right?
Is this real life? Is this actually happening?
I think that's what we all thought. So I can't imagine like what's going through their head.
It was amazing.
'Cause even before the game, like we joked that maybe we could see Cale Makar's first NHL goal.
Yeah, like kind of
that's never
flippantly,
gonna
like
happen.
that's pretty unrealistic. Like the odds of that. Well, and the odds of that are 0 until now because he is the first. He made history last night.
Yeah, he's the first defenseman to score his first goal in his first game in the playoffs. It's happened, 10 times before, but it's always been by forwards. But he's the first defenseman to do it.
That's awesome.
And we were there to see history.
Well, and if he can keep his head on, I don't know how. I hope he's just got one of those super magical, resilient self-awarenesses that he can just keep on trucking and maybe not actually think about what's happening. I feel like you'd have to block out the big picture and the spectacle of your existence and just be like, go to sleep, wake up, play hockey, go to sleep, wake up, play hockey. Don't think about playing hockey in the NHL. Don't think about playing hockey in the playoffs. Just do what you've done your whole life. Wake up, play hockey, go to sleep, repeat. And soak in the gravity of this. Let's say in the end of June.
Exactly.
That's what I'm going to shoot for.
Well, the fact that he was playing in a championship game less than a week ago, and now he's playing in the playoffs. Like he obviously knows how to play in high pressure games.
Yeah.
But the NHL is a whole nother level. But he looked good last night.
Confident.
And he played a lot.
But then in his post game interview, he was like super self critical. He's like, yeah, I mean, I guess I played pretty good. Like, there's a lot I really should have done better. Like, I have a lot of things I want to improve on and focus on. Like, which I think is good. Like, he wasn't like, yeah, it was amazing. Oh my God, it's like I'm in Disney World. No, he's like, yeah, I was good. I was pretty good.
I could get better.
I was okay. There's a lot I want to improve on. That's, how old is he?
20.
Oh my gosh.
Can't even buy a beer.
20 years old to be that grounded. Hey, shout out to those awesome parents of his who we got to watch react last night because clearly this kid's like got his head on straight.
Oh, yeah. And with hockey, being a parent of a kid that plays hockey and is really good at hockey,
such an investment.
you have to dedicate your life to hockey for your child.
Yeah.
With all the travel and all.
And the money.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Good for them because now it's going to pay off because he's going to be a millionaire.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, and what's exciting is the reason Makar was playing last night was because Gerard was hurt. I don't know if he's going to be playing tomorrow night. I know it wasn't a serious injury, so we'll get Gerard back within the next game or two.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
I mean, he's been arguably our second or third best defenseman.
For sure.
So you bring him back to the
Having
team.
a great season. Yep.
And the Avs are just going to get better.
Well, and sorry, I'm still on this Makar storyline. To add to it, he's from Calgary. Like, he is a Calgary kid.
That makes it even better.
Playing against his childhood team he rooted for in the Stanley Cup playoffs. getting a goal, watching his team, kick ass.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
the rest of the team was so excited for him when he scored that goal.
Oh, it was so. You'd have acted like they'd all known each other for the past 10 years.
Yeah.
That's, they were completely already like, yep, we're a team. We're a family.
Well, I doubt they had even practiced together.
No.
So he just gotten there a day before, and they didn't have practice on Monday.
No. So good for Bednar for being super ballsy and like, all right, let's roll.
Right? Let's see what happens.
I think you got it, so go prove me right, please.
So they were down a man anyway, so like, all right, let's see what the kid can do. Which I was concerned because you run the risk of, damaging him psychologically. Like, let's say he played bad in the series and the Avs lose the series. He's got 5 months to think about it. So that's what I was afraid of. But obviously the moment isn't too big for him.
Not at all.
If anything, this will boost his confidence and help
really
him.
Impressive. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited to see if the Avs can repeat, and that might be a lot to ask, but at least put up a similar challenge for the Flames tomorrow night.
If they can just keep up the energy.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think Calgary is obviously they're a great hockey team, and they're not stupid. They're going to come a lot more prepared for tomorrow than they were yesterday. They were not ready for yesterday. They didn't know what hit them.
I'm just interested to see how the Flames adjust, because it seems like they've been trying to get the Avs to play down to their level. Like the amount of face pushes that the Flames have had.
God, what's that guy, Bennett?
Yeah.
God, he's just like, I'm like, you are a nuisance.
Well, and last night it just seemed like in the third period, he was just like causing trouble.
Oh,
just,
yeah.
like trying to hurt somebody or just cause a fight.
He's, they got to be careful with him. I like saying that, like the league, the reffing teams, like he's like you give a mouse a cookie, you let him get away with one little thing. 5 seconds later, he's going to push the envelope harder and push it harder. And someone's going to end up getting really hurt for no reason at all.
That's what I'm worried about.
They got to keep him in check. Like, he's a loose cannon.
Well, it is funny how the rules change so much in the playoffs. Like, the rules are more built for the Flames than the Avalanche, because the Flames aren't, or the Avalanche aren't a team that's, just going to go out there and kick your ass.
No, they're going to, actually play strategically and do the sport some justice.
The Flames are a bigger team. They play good defense, and they will kick your ass. So the fact that the Avs have gotten around that and they're not falling into the Flames trap.
Right. Because if the Avs were to sink down to that level, they would get their asses handed to them. Like, the Avs are great, but I don't think they can take any Flames in a fist fight, like in a brawl.
There's a few Avs, but not as many as what the Flames have.
Right. And the Flames have just been taking so many cheap shots.
I know. The amount of times
and I have so much respect. Like, there's been times where, like, a Flames player has just smacked an Av in the face, and they just look at them like, you're an idiot.
Yep.
And they're not letting it get to them. They're just looking at them like,
skate away.
Okay, you're a moron.
That's the right thing to do. Don't sink to their level.
Don't let them get
Because it's always
in your
like
head.
a Flames player just shoving his glove in an Avs face, and then the Avs player just doesn't respond. It's like, all right, that's mad respect. How do you do that?
Kids 101, like dealing with bullying, no reaction tends to be the most quick way to shut down someone who's trying to mess with you.
Well, especially when you're playing such an aggressive sport and your adrenaline's going and somebody just smacks you in the face.
Oh, I wouldn't have that kind of self-control. I'd get in trouble left and right. Like, to have that mental strength.
Just to ignore it, it's impressive. That's coaching right there. Because all the Avs players have been doing that.
Yeah, I think Bednar's been put through the ringer in terms of critique from fans and the media, with good reason, right? For sure. But I feel like his strength is really, really shining in these playoff situations.
Well, and the last 2 weeks of the season.
He looks like a supervillain, and I really like that. With his, like, really thick, slicked back hair.
Right.
And his very prominent facial features. Like, you look like...
big chin, big jaw.
Yes, a cartoon version of a villain.
But he's our hero.
Keep it up.
Yes.
Keep it up, Edna.
Oh, yeah. So
All
I
right.
wasn't convinced after the 48-point season, but
No.
last
But
two
I
seasons
did.
have
I
been
completely
really good.
forgot that he was hired and then on the job, like, as the season started.
Yeah, like a month before. But the Avs, they've looked good, and they got one more home
that,
game.
Like, he managed to coach them psychologically to not break in the 48-point season, that speaks volumes. There's a lot of coaches who wouldn't be able to navigate their team through that for their team to be able to come back the next season and play it effectively.
And the 48 points is really, really bad. Like, you look at the Senators this year, they've been a complete dumpster fire, but I think they ended up with, like, 62 points.
Yeah. 48, I wonder if it is a record. I mean, it's...
And guess what pick they ended up with when they had 48
4.
points? Yep.
We always end up with 4 because the lottery is nonsensical.
But guess who we drafted?
I don't remember who.
Oh, you got this.
Oh, I don't.
Cale Makar.
No, with the...
4th pick.
But with the... I know we drafted Cale Makar this time with the 4th pick. Who did we draft that 48-point season with that 4th pick?
Cale Makar. We haven't had the
Okay,
NHL draft
wait
yet
a second.
for this year.
So you draft them, and then they go back to college until...
So like Makar was drafted right out of high school. So he had the choice to either go to college or play in the minor leagues, like play for the Eagles. for
Okay,
example.
okay. And he went to college. That was smart.
Yeah. And
Oh!
yeah.
I
So we
did
drafted
not.
him,
How did
and then he
I
went to
didn't know
UMass
that.
for 2 years.
Well, then it was totally worth it.
Yeah, right?
Thank goodness we got 4th.
Hopefully we can get that lucky again, because he might turn out to be the best pick of that draft. I don't know.
It's very possible.
With all of his hype.
God, that's so confusing. I'm so like babied by like the ease of the NFL draft.
Right.
You get drafted, you go to work now. Like, that's how it works, but that's not how baseball works. That is not how hockey works. How does basketball work?
So you have to play at least 1 year in college. But then when you're drafted, they don't have any minor leagues or anything like that. So you go straight from college to the NBA.
Even if you're not done with college?
Correct.
What if you want to finish college?
Then you don't get drafted. You have to wait until
So
the
you
next
have
year.
to say, hey, I'm ready to bail on this.
Exactly.
Draft me.
One with baseball
Interesting.
and hockey, you can get drafted right out of high school.
Yeah, I have a friend whose brother got drafted right out of high school. And that was a while ago. I remember thinking that was the coolest thing in the world. And that was like years ago. And now I'm seeing her posts of him playing for the Indians. And I was like, okay, wait. So he got drafted 4 years ago and worked his way up. Because in baseball,
Yeah.
you have to start in the farm leagues, right?
You don't have to, but 99.9 of players do.
Okay.
Unless you're, just that good. They can go right into the major leagues at 18.
That's rare, though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Especially for baseball.
You usually play at least like 3 or 4 seasons in the minor leagues. And that's why, personally, I think it's smart for Kyler Murray to play football. Because he's going to play in the NFL when he gets drafted. But even first overall picks in baseball, some of them don't even make it to the major leagues.
Oh, yeah.
Because you have to do your time in the minor leagues.
Right. And I'm like, hey, Kyler Murray, be a quarterback. Live it up. Give it what? Even 10 years? You can still go play baseball. Baseball
Right.
players are old. You can play baseball until you're like 45.
I mean, Deion Sanders played baseball when he was like 35.
How old is the oldest baseball player? 50?
The oldest
Current baseball player.
Oh, that's
Trey was talking to me about this at work the other day.
the big guy, right? With the
Yeah.
Mets. Oh, what's his name? The pitcher for the Mets.
Googling it. Bartolo?
Yeah, Bartolo Colon.
Oh, I'm acting like he's super old. He's 43.
One the oldest MLB pitcher to ever win a game was actually a Rocky. Jamie Moyer, like 5-6 years ago, and I think he was like 48 or something like that.
Nice.
He wasn't good. We just started him
But,
because
you
we
know.
wanted him to get the record.
Oh, that was nice of us.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. with all, like, literally all of the Colorado sports excitement going on right now, we are going to try to be a lot more proactive about podcasting. If you haven't checked it out, Miles and Gideon did a fantastic Nuggets podcast that is up on everything. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CastBox,
Wherever you get your
YouTube.
podcasts.
Wherever you get your podcasts, it's there. Listen in. That's episode 51. And we will probably be back to you, all four of us, for a multi-sport podcast on Friday. If not, we'll be back with you next week with these specific sports podcasts. So go Avs. Cheer your faces off if you're there tomorrow. Be so loud. Physically shake that building. That's how it was last night.
I feel like that's how it's going to be tomorrow.
It's got,
after a 6-2 win.
Light it up. If there's any way we could get tickets, I would.
I know.
We both talked about it. I'm also like, hey, so we don't have all the money in the world.
Well, if it was Thursday night, I might think about it because my office is closed on Friday. But I can't show up to work completely exhausted 2 days.
That's facts. Yeah.
In 1 week.
Nicole from the Nuggets ticket office called me today. She was like, hey, I see you bought tickets with us this year. Are you going to any playoff games? And I was like, yeah, I was there last night for the Avs game, and we bought tickets to next week's Tuesday game if we get to that game. She was so polite. And I was like, and I'm literally out of my sports budget. Like, I've blown it. I have no more sports money left to spend. And she goes, I understand. I won't bug you then. And I was like, that was really chill of you. Like, she did not go for the big push. She was like, cool. You've clearly invested like $400 or $500 here in the last week.
Right?
I'm going to let you be.
Usually they'd say, well, can I give you a call before the next series?
Ticket package for next year? Yeah, and she was just like, cool. Thanks for coming and supporting us.
That's awesome.
Peace. I was like, thank you. So mad shout out to Nicole from the Nuggets ticketing team.
Yeah, the Nuggets are currently down by 7 in the third, so...
We're still in it. We're still in it, but I'm hopeful. And... I'm having a really hard time because Derek White, who is a Spur, is a Colorado kid, grew up in Parker, Colorado. That's my hometown. And he's just been lighting it up. So I'm torn between being like, oh my God, how cool is it to watch this young, brilliant athlete perform so well in the playoffs?
When we met him.
Why is he not on our team? Yeah, he's like very good friends with one of our family friends, and we met him at his wedding.
So Steele Krause, you may know his name.
Oh yeah, he's that real estate guy. Sweetest, nicest guy in the world, and like so young, and he's just playing great. So shout out to him. We got to give love to our Colorado peeps, even if they're on the wrong side of the court. The Nuggets defense needs to
shut that down.
Yes, shut it down. He's got enough to brag.
Better get to go to the game next week.
I know.
It'd be so bad if we
just think happy thoughts.
Yes.
All right, Colorado sports fans, we love you guys. Thank you so much for your support and for tuning in, and we will catch you later.
Peace.